Well, good morning. Welcome to the 2021 Arkansas 6A Women's Swimming State Championships. This is Scott Harlow alongside Scott Halliburton for the second year in a row.
Well, we're glad to be here. We're going to be quiet for the start.
So, first event is the girls' 200-yard medley relay, Heat 1. In lane 3, we have Conway High School. Lane 4, Springdale High School. Lane 5, Rogers. And in lane 6, Heritage.
Yeah, and last year in this event, Conway was third in the medley relay. They've graduated some seniors. But first of all, I just want to say hats off to the AAA for even getting this meet on. There's a lot of things that had to happen with the Arkansas Activities Association, Bentonville High School, the Bentonville Community Center to make sure we got a good meet on. It looks like we're going to have a very close meet, too. It's with the projected scores, it's going to be close between Bentonville and Bentonville Central for first, and also close between Bentonville West and Fayetteville for third. But that could change. You'll see the seed time. Some of the outside lanes will probably do a little bit better because there's not been as many qualifying times in there. In this first heat, it's time finals, so you can win from this first heat. Conway's got a nice lead with a good back and breaststroke leg, and they can score in the top 8 if they do that. The medley relays from backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, and freestyle in that order, and basically time finals. We'll see some of the faster heats. Most of the time will be in the second heat, and they'll be next to each other, and the center lanes being the fastest. But we'll see some lead changes in this medley relay, and again, Conway has been out, so. In general, again, most of the things we'll see a battle between Bentonville and Little Rock Central, no difference in the next heat of the medley relay. But Conway's establishing a pretty good time here. The state record is held by Haas Hall, the team of the Thomas girls, also Lily Despain and Caroline Stelty from 2016, a time of 1:48.22. We don't really expect that to be challenged, but
and Scott, that's a record across all classifications.
Correct. They didn't split out the meet until 2017, so some of these are against all classifications, and some of them when they had the 6A. The 5A is going on right now in Russellville, and the 1 through 4A is also going on, but we couldn't have more than one meet because of the way they break this up for social distancing in the Bentonville facility. So in that heat, Conway, pretty good time, 2:007. That would place them, based on the seed times, that would be 5th on there, but we'll see what the last heat goes.
Okay, coming up in heat 2 of the girls' 200-yard medley relay, we have in lane 1, North Little Rock, lane 2, Fayetteville, lane 3, Bentonville West, lane 4, Little Rock Central, lane 5, Bentonville, lane 6, Cabot, lane 7, Springdale Harbor, and in lane 8, Bryant.
And also in general, the heat sheet, the coaches have 8 people they've designated for those relays. We're not exactly sure who's going to be on that, but there's a limit of 2 individual events and 2 relays that basically the people will do, and the scoring is 20 points for first, 17 for second, they scored to 16, and 16 is worth 1, and the relays are worth double, so these relays are really important as far as determining the team championship. The team that will win this will get 20 points. Again, we got Little Rock Central in lane 4, Bentonville in lane 5, so probably expect some lead changes here. And again, backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, and freestyle. As far as the exchanges, the person swimming has to touch the wall before the next person can take off. Looks like in lane 3 we have Bentonville West with a slight lead in this medley relay. So Bentonville West certainly could challenge and win this first event. All 3 girls in breaststroke drove off at the same time. It looks like Leanne is going breaststroke for Bentonville. Should give them a lead after that, and pulling slightly ahead of Little Rock Central. So it's Bentonville in lane 5, Little Rock Central in lane 4, Bentonville West in lane 3 as they battle that out.
And just really for your visual reference, as you watch this on the telecast, the lanes are counted from left to right, 1 to 8. So as we're describing the swimmers in each of these lanes, you can count left to right, 1 to 8.
Yeah, good point here. And Bentonville still got the lead. That looks like maybe Grace Robbins going fly. She's stepped it up in butterfly this year after being primarily breaststroke for the last few years. Bentonville's got a slight lead as we go into that, followed closely by Little Rock Central as it comes down to the last leg, the freestyler here. Bentonville West and Cabot are battling out for third. Bentonville about a second lead going into the freestyle, and looks like it could be close. Central's closing on our freestyle a little bit from Bentonville, and Cabot and West are neck and neck for third. Looks like Bentonville got a slight lead as they come into the finish here. Little Rock Central is closing.
West, third.
And West is in third ahead of Cabot. Looks like Bentonville 148.55, which is just 0.3 off the overall classification record, better than the 6A record of 150.96. So very fast swim, just off the overall state record that I mentioned earlier. So good job by Bentonville and Little Rock Central on that time. Bentonville picks up a valuable 40 points. Little Rock Central with 34 for that relay. Bentonville West did hold off Cabot for third, and Cabot was fourth. So basically very good in points there. We're going to have 12 minutes between events, and the reason for that is that normally you'd have boys and girls competing at the same time, but for social distancing, the boys are this afternoon, and they're going to give them the same rest so that people can swim multiple events, can give their best performance. So we'll have a 12-minute break. We'll see some awards given out here, but in general, that's just what we have to do to get the meet in. And so, again, hats off to the facility and the officials for getting all that done.
So to that point, Scott, I mean, there'll be some occasions where we have some kind of moments of rest in the spacing between the events. We'll try to fill it with some quality airtime, but sometimes you may just get some shots of the pool.
Yep, obviously so. And again, we're here for the athletes, and I know a lot of you would have liked to have been here in person to be observing, and hopefully you're tuning in and enjoying our broadcast. But I've done it a few times, but we'll try to provide what's happening for you and why that's happening. So in general, there's a lot of moving parts and kind of an adjustment for us too, but we're glad that we're here to observe some swimming. And obviously you started out the first race with a very, very fast time, coming close to the state record, which again was set by Haas Hall in 2016, and that's with 3 girls that swam Division I in college. So a lot of,
and they were all extremely good swimmers.
Right. You had Martina and Luciana Thomas, who are going to Notre Dame and Naval Academy or West Point, respectively, and then Leda Spain also going to Navy. So that's a very good time.
And I think each of those girls, if they may still have individual records on the board as well. So for Bentonville to come within a split second of matching or beating that state record is impressive.
Yeah, and also Bentonville, looking at it from here, I think had 2 swimmers that are just sophomores in Leanne and Grace. So, they could probably get that record over the next couple years. And again, most of these athletes have committed to colleges and things, and Scott and I will go over what some of those commitments are as they come up. But in general, there's a lot of people recruiting based on this meet and looking at things for going to college. And as you'll notice, a lot of these state record holders, whether it's Luciana Thomas or Taylor Pike or Bella Cothran, all have gone on to swim in college. And Bella's just finished her freshman year at University of Arkansas. Yeah. And Luciana, like I said, at Notre Dame. Taylor Pike just finished her senior year at Texas A&M. Time goes by pretty quickly there.
And her younger sister is swimming in the Big Ten Championship.
She swam the 1650. Haley will swim that today. So, Arkansas maybe not has the depth of some other states, but we certainly have the frontline talent out there, and it's nice to observe that, and they'll push each other to faster times yet. So, anyway, it's a very fast pool that we have here. Last year, it's a lot of people observing it on top of us right before the pandemic started. But this year, it's social distancing. The parents with a pass get to come in right before the race and then have to exit. And so that's another reason we're taking advantage of the 12 minutes.
So when you talk about a fast pool, Scott, I mean, you know, you're talking about the depth, the consistency of depth, and you're talking about the guttering system, so there's not a lot of kickback from the wash that creates waves and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, what they try to do is have a guttering system where the water goes in but won't push back out. So the lane markers you see are to absorb the turbulence, and also the gutters. They want when the person comes to the wall, and the boys make more turbulence than the girls because they're bigger, they want the water to stay there and be less wavy. It's typically, most pools are the same for the lead swimmer. But then again, this aquatic facility being about 5 or 6 years old is state of the art, and we'll see some of those things. And results in a fast pool. But fast is all relative. They seem like they get faster every year and using techniques. And I know Coach Mark Gohl at Bentonville and the NWA Sharks, he's upped on those latest techniques and things, and we'll see them working a lot on kicking to get them in the right position so they can propel themselves faster. But there's a lot of science and technique to it. But these are the best of the best. I mean, Bentonville High School has, probably 40 swimmers, but don't have that many make this state meet. It's the top 16 in each event, and then relays and things. And diving is also a part of it. Swimming and diving. We had diving compete last night, and that will go a long way to determine the champion and things. But in general, it's a very clean facility. They're making it even cleaner, and it's a fast pool for those reasons. Then, as far as different temperatures and thing, they keep the water a little cooler for the championship meets, like 78 degrees usually, and that's another thing. And then some of the people are really peaking for this meet, and then some of them will swim other meets outside of high school, such as sectionals or junior nationals and different things. So there's some varying ranges that people have within this, but many people, this is what they peak for and what they shoot for all year. And so you have the high school season with conference leading up to the state championship, and you have the different sections of Arkansas all coming in to swim here in Bentonville. And like I said, the 5As in Russellville, and a new facility there.
So before we get too far along, Scott, I would like to take just a minute to thank our sponsors for the state swim meet this year. For 6A in this location, we have Jimmy John's, Centennial Bank, and the Farm Bureau. And we certainly thank all their support in helping to make this happen.
Yeah, certainly so. And again, it takes more than just the two of us talking to put this event on. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of volunteers from parents of swimmers to run the timing system in case the pad system doesn't work, to announce the different events coming up, tabulate the scores, and officiate as well. We have officials all over the Arkansas area that come to officiate for this meet, and all volunteers. So they put on a good meet, and it's a team effort to get everything done. And what you see is a result of a lot of hard work from a lot of swimmers over the years to make all this successful. So a little bit different this year, and but that's what we have to do, and at least we're going to have the meet. And so and declare a state champion. So like I said, the girls are this morning, the boys are this afternoon, and I won't talk over the announcer here. He was just announcing that when the next event was going to start, which will be the 200 freestyle. And as we look in the 200 freestyler, coming up, which is the next event, Chloe Thompson from Bentonville West is the defending state champion in this event. She's a junior. Last year, Angelie Jenkins from Little Rock Central was second, and Taylor Horan from Fayetteville was fourth. So we have a lot of returning talent in this event. Sometimes girls swim the same events year to year. Sometimes they change events. Josie Harlow's last year swam 2 different events. This year she's in the 200 free, so trying to score points for Bentonville West. And it looks like that Bentonville West has going to score a lot of points in this 200 free, and so is Fayetteville. And they will score more than Central and than Bentonville in this particular event. But Bentonville has more strong events coming up. And again, I was trying to say that, these athletes will peak and rest for this, but some of them have other meets coming up. But most of them, this is their big meet of the year, and certainly people from all over the state come around. And hopefully you're tuning in and listening to us here and enjoying the competition. So
Scott, I got to cut in for a second. I mean, just to lend some credibility to this telecast. I mean, you're the one that brings that. Can you tell us quickly what your swim history is?
Well, I've been swimming for 50 years. I started swimming when I was a little kid and maintained that. I've announced several different events. I was from Missouri, from St. Louis, so I announced some of the Missouri State Championships, plus NAI Nationals for several years. When my son went and attended Oklahoma Baptist, Kevin Polanski and I did this, and also have done a couple Division II national championships. So I continue to swim. I swim almost every morning here at the Bentonville Community Center. Swim Masters swimming. I was Arkansas Masters Swimmer of the Year in 2019. And All-American swimmer at Missouri. And so I also All-American at high school in St. Louis. So I have quite an extensive background, still love the sport, still like to watch it and watch these people compete. As far as me, I get slower every year, but I compete against a lot of the Bentonville Sharks when they do the practice, and sometimes I'm at the same time as them and just in other lanes and things. But in general, it's been a challenge for the coaches with social distancing in the workouts, a limit of 5 per lane. And
okay, so we're coming up on the women's 200-yard freestyle. We'll have 2 heats of that, and I'll go ahead and announce the first heat. So the first heat consists of lane 1, Bratton from Bryant, Jackson from Mount St. Mary's, Tankersley from Conway, Dressel from Fayetteville, Euler from Bentonville West, Robinson from Rogers, Sutton from Conway, and Kaman from Little Rock Central High School.
And basically, the AAA's goal is 16 per event. They have a cutoff time, and so basically their goal is to have about 10 to 12 swimmers make that cutoff time and then fill in the rest with the next fastest times in there. So basically, we have 16 in most events. In some cases, you'll have more than that have achieved that particular qualifying time. We have that in a few events coming up, but in general, that's how they do it. And it's a time final, which means they get 1 swim. And again, these are the best of the best. But again, I got involved in swimming a long time ago and have done a few announcing and really like the sport. And I know that hopefully most of you tuning in are big fans of swimming, and we're here to try to help you enjoy that for those of you that can't be here in person. And so what they'll do is they'll give the awards for the medley relay after this 200 free, and then that will help shorten the breaks and things. Obviously, these young ladies have worked very hard to get to this point, and there's a couple things. We'll have to be quiet at the start, and that's so that everybody gets a fair start, and then you'll see the noise level pick up as they get in, and their coaches and parents and supporters will all cheer for the different swimmers and the different events. But in general, we will have the order of events is the medley relay, 200 free, 200 IM, 50 free. There's a diving break, the 100 fly, the 100 free, the 500 free, the 200 freestyle relay, 100 back, 100 breast, and 400 freestyle relay that concludes it. So diving was contested last night, and we, again, expecting a really close meet. So based on the projection that I had, based on how everybody was seated, Bentonville's picked up 6 points on that, and Central's dropped 6 points. So we expect that to change as time goes on, and it's really kind of a two-team race between Bentonville and Central for first, but Bentonville West and Fayetteville are fairly close for third. So we'll see that, and they'll announce some of the scores. If you have Meet Mobile, they're keeping up with that on the app, and so you can also follow that as a result of that. So we're getting ready to start this 200 freestyle. Again, 8 lengths to the pool. And Scott already gave you the lineup.
Okay, again, in lane 1, we have Bratton from Bryant. Lane 2, Jackson from Nelson Berry. Lane 3, Tankersley from Conway. Lane 4, Dressel from Fayetteville. Lane 5, Bueller from Bentonville West. Lane 6, Robinson from Rogers. Lane 7, Sutton from Conway. And lane 8, Mond from Little Rock Central.
Fayetteville is expected to pick up about 41 points in this event, so a lot of strong freestylers here, and they have the top seed for this heat, which is Kenya Dressel from Fayetteville High School. She's off to an early lead with a split of 28-2 going out. The state record in this event is held by Taylor Pike, set way back in 2015. Taylor is a senior this year at Texas A&M, and obviously was a good freestyler and butterflyer back in this meet. Lane 1 is also having a pretty good swim. Shelby Bratton in lane 1 is right with the leaders as they come up to the halfway part of the 100 turn. So it's Kenya Dressel in lane 4 and Shelby Bratton in lane 1 and 2 right now. And as you notice, left to right of the lanes, 1 being on the left and 8 being on the right. And so we're seeing a lot of lead changes in the medley rear. In the freestyle, you'll see a lot of people go out and split this race somewhat evenly, but they try to come back pretty fast. And so certainly right now it's Taylor Horan, or excuse me, it's Kenya Dressel from Fayetteville leading with Shelby Bratton closely behind in lane 1. So again, time finals. These ladies can score. It's fairly close between the first and the second heat. So they're trying to score in the top 8 and get on the podium, top 6 to represent their school and score points. So we have lane 5, which is Ellie Mueller from Bentonville West. It's going to moving up, but in lane 4, it's Kenya Dressel and a time of 2:02:52 rather. A little hard to see with some of the fans participating, but that time would place her 5th if all the people maintain their seed times, but we expect some changes in that. Second was lane 1 from Bryant, which was Shelby Bratton. So she's definitely going to move up, seeded 15th, and she's going to score valuable points for the Bryant Hornets. Again, Chloe Thompson, the defending champion for Bentonville West, she's our 2nd seed tonight, as Taylor Horan from Fayetteville is the number 1 seed. Probably not as many meets this year for the ladies to establish some times, but in general, we'll see kind of the center lanes are usually the fastest as we go into each heat.
And I know we'll talk more about tapering and that sort of thing a little later, but I also don't think they've had much of an opportunity for shave and taper meets this year to really get the payoff for all their hard work.
Oh, absolutely. And again, limited on meets. And you all know that we had a snowstorm here a couple of weeks ago, and we are seeing that the conference meet was delayed and some different things like that. So we're ready for the final heat of 200 freestyle.
In the water, lane 2, or heat 2 of 2, for the girls 200-yard freestyle. We have in lane 1, Gunter from Fayetteville. Lane 2, On the Hill from Bentonville. Lane 3, Jenkins from Little Rock Central. Lane 4, Moran from Fayetteville. Lane 5, Thompson from Bentonville West. Lane 6, Allen from Fayetteville. Lane 7, Holly from Bentonville. And lane 8, Harlow from Bentonville West.
So again, strategy, Chloe Thompson tends to even split her races, but in lane 4, we have Taylor Horan from Fayetteville that's out first. We, as I stand up here so I can see, but lanes 3, 4, and 5 are all kind of close together. So that's Angelie Jenkins from Little Rock Central in lane 3, who's got a slight lead over Taylor Horan from Fayetteville in lane 4, and Chloe Thompson in lane 5 from Bentonville. Chloe even splits her races very well, and she's the defending champion. So she turns at the 100 in first. A little bit off the state record time, but she's going to have a good swim, and she's really picked it up this third 50. If you see her coach, really, Mark Gold really encouraging her on. She's looking for a good swim here. Chloe's very tall girl, 5'10", and uses that height and to her advantage as she comes up, and she's going to be in the lead with 50 yards to go. It's followed closely by Angelie Jenkins from Little Rock Central, and they were 1-2 last year, and they're pulling ahead. Chloe's got that kick going. You can see that. She can see Angelie as she goes in this lap. She won't be able to see her coming home, and that's why she's really trying to establish the lead. Her last split was 25.5, which was faster than her second split. So she's looking at a pretty good time coming in here. Going to be a little bit off the state record, but she's going to be 1:52.88, and so that's a nice time for Chloe, and 2 in a row for her for the Bentonville West Wolverines. Second is Angelie Jenkins from Little Rock Central. Third in lane 6 was Angelie Narling from Fayetteville, and fourth was lane 2, which was Emma on the Hill from Bentonville. So quite a few good valuable points for Bentonville as they're moving up, and came out with the top 5 or top 6. And fifth was Taylor Horan, who was fourth last year from Fayetteville. And in sixth was Heat 1, which would have been